and welcome to Legends of Grayskull, the Holiday Spectacular. I'm Matthew Dooch, here again with Shawn Scavarna. Shawn, how we doing tonight?
Ho, ho, ho. That's all I got. I don't know. I just felt like doing it.
Got 3 hoes, ladies and gentlemen.
We're off camera. Sorry. Oh, I'm going to get hell for that later. Anyway.
Yes, you should. Okay, nope, we're going to leave it there. Jesse Arnold is also in the building. It is the holiday season. We are surrounded by friends, family, and of course, I can think of very few people that embody that better than Jesse Arnold. Jesse, welcome to Legends of Grayskull.
Thanks for having me on, you cotton-headed ninny muggins.
There you go. That's another one every year. We got to put that one on.
One of my wife's favorites. All right.
You're an angry elf.
Let's scroll through the chat here for a minute. As most of you
Call me an elf one more time.
Tonight we do have Santa Tour, which I hope at some point Jesse is actually going to draw his version of Santa Tour, because he came up with that, and yeah, that sounds amazing. I want to see that now.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, in your post you said Santa Tour is going to bring some of the good Motu fans some presents. So we'll be giving those away randomly throughout the episode. And another one. It fell. Ah.
Yeah.
Yes. Stay. So let's see here. We got Shawn Scavarna. He doesn't count. We got Skelly Vader. He was first to pop up. J Max here. Scott Baker. I can't write and talk this quickly at the same time. Trista Weirick, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. I feel your pain. Thanks. She just joined our Legendati group, which we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. Scott Baker, J Max, get better. Same people over and over again. Mark R, welcome. That's a new one. Fam Home, welcome. And if you guys have real names that you want to share, feel free, because that's one of the hard things about coming to the YouTube is sometimes people have these usernames and you're like, who is that? And it's like, oh no, I talk to them all the time.
I fight for the users.
Honor you 83, welcome again. He's popped up quite a few times over our lives, and I still don't know how to say his username. Dusty Standaford, welcome, man. How you doing? And of course, identity theft is not a joke, Jim. I love him. No joke. And I think that catches us up there for the live chat. So, yes, join our Legendati page. It is a fun little thing where we post stuff. It's our wonderful private Facebook group. It gives everybody a little more anonymity, and we share stuff about the podcast. You'll get early looks. They saw an early version of that intro a few days ago, and eventually we will be revealing our brand new logo there first. So, good times. Right, Shawn?
Absolutely.
Michael Casper. I missed Michael Casper the first time. Welcome, Michael. Thank you. I'm sorry I missed you. So, this is already our 3rd Christmas special. Can you believe this, Shawn?
No. Honestly, this year has been I honestly feel like I blinked and missed most of it. It's been that busy. So for me to think I've been in 3 years of this is like, I got nothing on that right now. That's pretty nuts. So, and they haven't canceled YouTube on us, so obviously we're not doing the right things. We need to be more risque.
We have not
get more of those shots of Tila landing from behind, and have that be our transition between segments. And there we go. See, he gets it. He gets it.
Ooh, the Tila merman. I like that.
That's as revealing as a shirt as I have, I think.
Still works. A little bit of leg. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. So, Jesse, this is your first Christmas episode with us. So let's start with. I know you're not necessarily the biggest Motu guy, but I'm sure more in your childhood you were. Do you remember a significant Christmas with a Motu presence, or was that?
Oh, absolutely. Usually, each year, as the gifts were coming out, I have four older siblings. Um, Especially for me being the youngest, I was, like 9 years younger than the youngest one before me. So I was definitely getting more toys than anyone else because they were all teenagers and everything. But they're usually like, you'd get your socks and like all the boring stuff, but there would be kind of a theme through the presents each year. So it wasn't like all He-Man or all Transformers, but like something would be kind of the common denominator through a larger portion of them. And I remember one year, um, had to be before I was 5, or maybe even the year I was 5 at Christmas when my grandparents came. They lived in New Jersey. They came usually a little bit later in the morning, and I got Castle Grayskull on Christmas Day. Um, and I just remember being so blown away by that thing as a 4 or 5 year old, whatever it was at the time. And yeah.
Yeah, I've still got my picture opening up my Castle Grayskull, and it's just amazing. I was around the same age, 4 or 5, which shows you how different things were back then. That they were still in stores at that point, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I can't remember a lot of anything else that came with it. I know I put the sticker on the flag wrong because it was like I didn't fold it, smoothly, and that always bothered me.
I still hate stickers to this day. My kids will get stuff and I'll put it together, and anything with decals, I like sit there forever beforehand lining it up, and then I'll be like, yes, that's perfect. Smooth it out. It's like, no, that little wrinkle at the end. Real quick here, Skelly Vader does want to know, Jesse, where did you get that shirt? I know I've seen it before, but I can't think of the username off the top of my head.
I don't remember the I want to say I got it through T Public, maybe.
Yeah, definitely T Public. I thought maybe you remember.
I don't remember the specific. I just was. It was when I was first talking about maybe going to PowerCon with Shawn this year, but when we were talking about it last year, about it being a possibility, I think it was towards the end of the year, I was like, I don't have any Master shirts. I'll go get some. So I ended up getting an Orko shirt, this, and a Sorceress shirt. And I don't remember where they all came from, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was T Public.
I think the Sorceress one is actually Steve's, the Shaddies. Isn't it the Tila's mom's got it going on?
I think it's the same pose, but it's an actual like filmation.
Oh, gotcha.
I think it's like an exact replica. It doesn't have any text on it. I did not know who those guys were when I got these shirts. So.
Looks like SNES Pix, Pix, according to a quick search for that one. It is a great one, and I actually think it's from a vintage coloring book originally.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And then
my coworker always says it looks like she's farting on Merman.
So actually, Merman's the good guy here. Like, Tila just comes up to his home, rips one, and he's like, "What are you doing? Get off my lawn!
You're polluting the ocean."
And she's stealing a shell too, which that's on his front. That's like his garden gnome. She's like, "I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna rip one, and I'm out of here." Merman's been the good guy this whole time.
I'm sorry for mentioning Orko. Take it back. I don't have an Orko.
Michael Casper does not like Orko or Prince Adam. We would have some words, but he does want to know.
I mean, depending on what tone you read that comment in, he might really, really like them.
knowing the way he likes Masters, we know it's the opposite version. Though.
Come on. This is our holiday special. We can have fun here.
It's true.
That's true.
He does also want to know if all of the legends are going to Legions Con and PowerCon next year. For me personally, I am definitely planning on Legions Con. PowerCon, I'm trending more towards wanting to go, but I also can't really say I'm going at this point.
Sure you can.
Well, I could, but I don't like to lie to people, especially on Christmas.
But you don't know yet. I mean,
I want to. I'm not sure if I can make
you should go
both of
because
them
I'm going to be there.
happen.
And Michael's going to be there.
He will be there. Michael will be there. Jesse, he says he's going to be there. Shawn, you are the last of the all of the legends.
Legion's Con, absolutely. It'll take a lot to keep me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do to get me out of New Jersey on that weekend.
The only time
and 100 men is like a Legion. There you go. And then for PowerCon, I don't know because it's scheduling more than anything for me. So if it can work, I'm gonna let Jesse know. If I can't make it work, I'll be at Legion's Con. No way around that one. Let's put it that way.
Now here's the other one I'm throwing out there. Put you guys on the spot.
I'm not making that one.
Coming to MesquiCon?
I'll just say I doubt highly I'll be able to pull that one off. When is MesquiCon? I know.
I knew you were going to ask that
March.
too. That's why I went.
March.
Yeah, March.
Okay.
$5 admission. I know a place you can stay. Just saying.
I'm not staying at Travis's house.
No. I am only a couple hours away from Mesquite.
Okay.
So, just putting it out there. If you guys are interested, you guys roll up to my place. We roll up there. We have a good weekend.
That's actually not a horrible idea. It's just whether we can get there or not. And
Planes,
again, scheduling
planes,
with
trains,
me.
automobiles, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this. I would like to possibly play that for. I know it's technically next year, but 24.
Yeah.
Because I potentially am going to Toylanta, which I think is around the same weekend, so I definitely can't swing both of those.
Gotcha. But yeah, definitely, guys. There's going to be lots of opportunities this coming year. Lots of good conventions out there right now. I mean, it's a great time.
And I will definitely be at Legion's Con.
Yeah. And you said PowerCon. So.
I specifically said PowerCon, but yeah, definitely doing Legion's Con.
Yep. And J Max says PowerCon was great, but would be better if you guys could make it. Aw, thanks, Jay.
Oh.
And Michael Casper does say that his cons next year are MesquiCon, PowerCon, and Legion's Con. So, yeah.
See, Shawn, incentive if you can make it work. I'll probably be riding with Brian and Greg again.
That scares me more than you know, I think. Oh, no.
You'll love it.
I'm sure I will. I mean, I was laughing pretty good when we were in the hotel room at RetroCon and just hanging out and stuff. So, but yeah, no, as of right now, I mean, on a personal level, my wife starts a new job Monday. So when we get like a couple of months under our belts of having a new normal, which is going to be a heck of a lot better than the old normal was this year, that's when I'll start trying to formulate this stuff. Like, Jesse, you're going to, what was the other one that I said I'm on board with?
ZoloCon.
So we're going to be, Jesse and I will be at ZoloCon when that hits. Nice. For both days. But other than that, in Legion's Con, I haven't really planned too far ahead. So we'll see what happens.
And I will say Pete McCarthy is a terrible promoter. I cannot find any information on MesquiCon this year.
He's admitted that, though. He's like, I just sit back and let
March 11th. Do it. I found it. Only on
Actually,
Facebook.
No, that's the other one. That's the other one they do.
If you want a lot of information, if you watch my show from last Sunday night, Pete talked about it a quite a good deal. That's all, folks.
Yep.
Strike that reverse.
I'm waiting
about it.
I'm waiting for the audio version. That's how I listen to my podcast.
Oh, jeez.
Scott Baker says that hanging out with Shawn was one of the highlights of Mythic Weekend, and he's looking forward to next year. Trista wants Scott to take her with. And Skelly Vader does bring up, and I don't think we talked about this, Shawn, because it was during our hiatus. Glendale, Arizona, the Mattel Adventure Park will be having the Masters of the Universe laser tag. They showed. Have you seen that on Facebook? They've shown the giant Grayskull and the He-Man and Skeletor that will be outside the entrance.
Yeah, I have seen the production photos of them building it and stuff. So that's something we completely forgot to talk about that because there's always something else news-wise, and with we have had to take some hiatus in the last couple months, and we just kind of hit the news that it like hits us fastest when we're about to record. So yeah, we forgot about that, but I think it's fun, but there's a part of me that's still like laser tag. Like I don't equate Masters. I mean, I know the
laser guns and all that. Like
I get that, but there is that part of me that's just like I kind of just wanted to have like a ride at Universal Studios, like we talked about on that one episode, where it's just here's the monitor, you're feeling the jet sled move,
the 4D type
hit by enemy fire, that kind of stuff.
No, I agree, and I think it'll get there. I think like this is like I can see them expanding this. You know what I mean? Like I think they're just trying to get it off the ground, and then probably they're gonna go from there. It'd be really cool if you had like different options. Like you could do like Man-at-Arms rifle from Filmation, or like Man-E-Face's pistol, or you know what I mean? Like instead of just having everyone have like the same backpack, like you'd have like 3 or 4 different options of the different guns throughout the line. That'd be a fun little thing.
I just think it'd be funny if you gave somebody like the laser light power sword kind of deal, and they're running around killing people in there because they get too like into it and everything. It's like, Johnny, stop! No, I'm dead! Oh, I can see it now. It would make me laugh my butt off. Skeletor, I'll be back. No, you won't. Clunk. That's the end of that.
But yes, and Skelevator says we have to all meet up there. That would be fun someday.
I
wish it was.
That's the thing. I mean, like Skelevator being out in California and him being close to there within reason, and then like from the Cabal, David Williams, who he's artist extraordinaire out in the Cabal. He's in Arizona.
Yep.
So it's like we know people. We have some, at least some people out there that would be interested, I'm sure. So that would be cool to have like a meetup, because I know for them it's not easy to get over here sometimes just to meet up as well. So
yeah, that's tough, but it's great. It's great.
The problem with all of that though is it's Arizona, and not that there's anything wrong with Arizona specifically, but
no, Arizona sucks.
I will die.
You will die.
Like I'm still wearing shorts outside.
Glendale.
No, well, I know that with you.
Glendale is a little bit better, but yeah, not by much. Yeah, Arizona sucks. I would only go there to meet up with Skeletor.
No, I'm talking temperature. Like I like Legion's Con was almost unbearable this weekend.
I completely agree. I lived in Tucson for way too many years. Like, trust me, I completely understand. I chose to move back towards Indiana and Michigan. So, we've gone a while. You guys went a while that no one knows about. I think it's time to give away a present.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Here's a free digital hug.
For everyone. Itchy and Scratchy dollars.
Yeah, there you go.
Itchy and Scratchy dollars not accepted here.
I'm clean.
So.
What?
Huh?
What? I'm not itchy and scratchy. I'm clean. I'm hygienic.
You really didn't watch The Simpsons, did you?
Huh?
This is like the end of my episode on Legion's Lair the other night. My cheeks were literally like, I felt paralyzed. I just had a huge smile on my face.
Face
my cheeks. Yeah, my cheeks were killing me because I was laughing so damn hard. Anyway.
Jesse, give me a number.
84. I don't know if that's the kind of number you wanted, but that's what you got.
That works perfectly. So, Trista Wyrick, you are the first winner of a Legends of Grayskull
Ah.
Christmas present. This package I'm showing before you may or may not actually be the present. And the fun part about this, well, I think it's fun, is we are actually not revealing what the presents are tonight. You are actually going to get a wrapped present. I hope to get all these out by Monday, so that you guys will actually have them under your tree to open on Christmas. And I hope that you guys will take the opportunity to tag us in when you open it, and yeah, and share a little bit of the fun. So congrats, Trista. Thanks for joining us, and you are our first winner. So PM me over on Facebook, and I will, with your address, and I will get your present out to you.
Congratulations.
She asked, what did I miss? Quite a bit. You won. You won the first present. So you reach out with your address. I'll get you a present in the mail. You'll have something to open under the tree. Congrats. And stick around, guys. We got plenty more.
Wait, what? What's false advertising?
Because this is not actually the present. This is merely a placeholder. I assume.
He grabbed that. It's one of his kids' presents.
That's actually mine.
So that it's one of.
It's for me from my mom. My mom sent that to me.
All right.
So.
Well, you get that one, Trista. whatever the kid gets, that's what you.
And I will say, talk about presents here. So were you guys were families, obviously. Did your parents put the presents on? Sorry, Jesse's face. Did your parents?
I've been part of a family. I am not my own family.
I'm my own best friend.
Aren't you though? Did your family put presents under the tree beforehand, or was it like everything appeared Christmas Eve? Shawn and Jesse,
I know,
I'm talking to you guys.
Me, in our house, we didn't do the Santa thing. That was never like a part of our traditions.
Right.
So when we would go to bed, like, I mean, I was the youngest, so I was probably always in bed before everyone else. But like, I would put my presents under the tree for my siblings and my parents. So basically, anything that came in for us from other people were there. But when we woke up in the morning, you know, we had our stockings were like next to our pillows, and we got to mess with that stuff a little bit before we all went downstairs. And then there would be a lot more stuff under the tree then.
Right.
Because mom and dad would put it all under the tree overnight.
Right, that's how my family was too, for the most part. Same thing. There'd be a couple that would kind of get out there, stuff people sent, but yeah, most of the stuff would just like appear Christmas Eve. Shawn, you?
Yeah, up until what was it? Probably third grade, when that was around the time when like Santa's not a thing, you know, and all that stuff. But I still remember before that, you know, like I'd wake up in Christmas morning and see like tons of stuff, and I was like the little brother. That's mine. It says mom or dad. No, that's mine. I was that kid. But then I was the same way, where it was, you know, you put the stuff under the tree pretty much the night of Christmas and all that. And like sometimes my mom and dad would let me open presents the Christmas Eve. It was like I think 2 or 3 years.
Get one.
Well, there was 1 year where we were like, okay, we're going to be going to somebody's house the next day, and we had to leave early. So we did Christmas Eve opening everything. And my parents found out how horrible that is, because they got me a Super Nintendo that year, and I didn't go to bed.
Yeah.
I stayed up playing Batman Returns on SNES for like till 3 a.m. or whatever. So yeah.
I gotta say, it was we were never allowed to open them all, and even if we were going to my dad's house, my dad's mom's house, grandma's house. Man, I can't talk tonight. That we'd get up early, we'd open everything, and then we would have to leave all our nice shiny new toys and go do whatever. And it was like, but all right, you can bring one. Mm-hmm. So that was always torture.
Well, so third grade, Shawn. So what was it? The after Christmas break. That's when you got one of the most unrelenting, never leaving you alone gift of all.
Honestly, no.
Herpes?
Well, not at that age. At 3.
I don't know.
Third grade. No, like
Shawn, I don't know. You were an only child. You matured.
Oh,
I
that's
was an
it.
only
I mean,
child.
I guess that
Everyone
tracks.
No, but thanks to Army Ants, this man has not been. He's not been out of my life ever since then. Army Ants was the beginning, and then Ninja Turtles was the glue that
So
just.
I
Boom.
switched schools
Yeah.
in third grade over Christmas break. From one elementary school to a different one, and that's when I met Shawn.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I gotta assume that's. Yeah, watch what I say. My kids are wandering around. I gotta say, with you being an only child, Shawn, I gotta imagine that like third grade, that seems early to me. But I'm assuming that's probably a part of it, you know. Like I remember my mom trying to ooh, we gotta.
Well,
Sorry, we've got a porn bot wanting everybody to go
Yay!
adult chat dating for free.
We're official. Oh man. So I will say there was this one year. It was the one after we moved up here, actually, if I remember right, where because we moved literally like around the same time as Christmas that year. So it was like within that week leading up to Christmas or so, or maybe 2 weeks, then boom, we were up here in 1987. And that was kind of the year where I'm like, how does Santa know I'm not where I was because it's this close to Christmas? I can't send him a change address form or anything. How does this work? My mom's like, oh, he'll know. And I'm like, this is bull. Like, you can't tell me he knows. How does he know? You know, and all that stuff. But yeah, that was the Christmas where, because we moved, there was some stuff that they ended up forgetting to put under the tree. Ooh. And so there was one day where I got a phone call, and my mom's like, oh, you better take it. It's somebody for you. And I get on the phone, and there's this, hello, Shawn. Hi, how do you know my name? This is Santa. I'm at the North Pole and all this stuff. And I'm not going to lie. For a couple of seconds, I'm like, no way. You know, and then I listen to the cadence of the voice, and I listen to the voice itself, because there's moments where it goes in and out of the voice I know, and it was my dad calling from the garage. Yeah. But it was just enough for me to be like, "Pee-pee?" You know, there was that, you know, something. There was that spirit to it. But yeah, that it's like I found out that he didn't put something for the Centurions under my Christmas tree that year, so I ended up having to open that about a week later. So that was kind of cool, though. Extra Christmas present. Didn't expect it.
We definitely had that happen. We even had it. I think it was my sister. Somehow, like like I said, we'd open one every year. We'd open one present Christmas Eve, and one year, I don't think it was her biggest gift. Like, my parents, they always had the big gift. Like, that was behind the tree, and you always had to wait till the end, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, one of her bigger gifts accidentally slipped to the front, and so she grabbed that on Christmas Eve, and, like, my mom was ticked that. Because, you know, usually it was like a book, or pajamas, or a robe. Like, it was,
mm-hmm.
I mean, if I could pull an action figure on Christmas Eve, that would be pretty awesome. But usually it was kind of like the lower tier stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
But
well, here's a question. Here's a quick question for both of you. Did you guys ever have a Christmas Story Christmas where you almost got everything, and then out of nowhere behind that desk there's something that Santa didn't put right under the tree? Did you ever have one of those? Either of you?
Like, as far as I didn't see it at all? Like that sort of thing?
Like the one thing that you wanted the most, but they didn't give it to you right under the tree. It was like something off to the side or something like that, where it was like you thought Christmas was over and, oh, I didn't get the thing I wanted. And it turned out, no, the thing that you wanted was there one way or the other, and it was a surprise.
No, not that I can remember. And I think that would have left an impression. Like everything was always right under the tree, and I'm sure there were moments where like I thought it was something, but then it wasn't. But yeah,
Okay.
nope, there it was always there.
I mean, they would always like Matt was saying, bring out like the biggest one at the end, and I think they would try to play up like, oh, I guess that's it,
Right,
they would
but
do
no,
that, but like
I'd already counted everything. Like
I think
Yeah.
just um yeah, because like I didn't snoop, so I never knew. One year I snooped, and I was disappointed in myself that I saw what was coming before I got it.
Yep.
But I was like, I think I was in high school, so it was just kind of like, oh, that's why I never did this as a kid. um, but yeah, I can't remember a specific one where I really wanted something specific, and
Yeah, that's kind of I would snoop a little bit. I knew a couple hiding spots. I never had like where I spoiled like everything, but I definitely did find some stuff beforehand. Um, But definitely once everything was under the tree, like then I'm like investigating. I would never unwrap the presents under a tree because I never believed in myself to get them wrapped right again. But you'd be weighing them and everything else, and that's kind of where I was going with this because you always knew it was going to be a good Christmas when you could tell that it's got that flap on it. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. Like, and I don't know what's here. I have not snooped, but I definitely held it. I felt it, the weight, and of course, especially in today's age, that flap is definitely a dead giveaway. To where my mom would actually, and probably because it was easy to wrap too, she would actually start folding down the flaps.
Yep.
And that's
ours
why
were always folded over.
I think it's amazing that any in-box stuff has survived with like you see men in-box stuff with like a clean flap. Because even when I opened it, it wasn't clean because it'd been folded and probably folded again. So that's always a good thing to see. Identity theft is not a joke. Jim wants to know. Well, Shawn, did you? We're waiting.
I had two Christmases. The first one.
We almost had a Pete McCarthy moment there where we didn't actually ask Shawn and we moved on to something else.
Well, you never asked. Yeah. No, I had two of them. The first one was about a year or two later after we moved up to PA. Unwrapped all the presents, and I was bummed because I really wanted one specific thing. And then my dad legitimately, this was before Christmas Story, before I even saw Christmas Story. My dad, we had like an opening in our ceiling in the kitchen where you could get into the crawl space upstairs. And my dad goes, "Hey, wait a minute. What's that up there? I didn't notice that before." And then I'm like, what? And it's just like big trash bag in the form of a big rectangle. And well, why don't we get that down and see what that is? And he's talking to my mom, and I'm like, what's going on? And they pull it down, and then they just look at me. They go, "Why don't you see what's in there?" And I'm like, okay. And I'm trying to rip it open. My mom's helping me a little bit. I finally get a little bit of it open, and the only word that I see on anything underneath, it said Proton. And I lost my freaking mind because it was the real Ghostbusters Proton pack that the kids could wear, and you could play like you're a Ghostbuster.
I remember.
I went completely ape shit over that because that was the one thing I wanted the most out of anything that year. And then the second time it ever happened was I was a teenager. I want to say it was 15, and I actually was sneaking that year, and I got caught sneaking. So my mom made up a story of what the thing was that I snuck and got a little bit of a look at. And they let me open it on Christmas Eve even. And because there was a threat, it's going back to the store and all this other stuff. Well, on Christmas Eve, then all of a sudden here it is, and it comes out. And it's my first and one of the few, because I've never gotten them too much since then, I had an electric guitar for the first time, and that was a huge deal for me because I wanted one so desperately that year. So those were my two moments. But yeah, the Proton Pack will always be that. Every time I watch Christmas Story, I'm like, I know how you feel, dude. I completely know how you feel, Ralphie. I'm right there with you.
It's funny because now that you talk about that, like it probably would have been easier for them to do that sort of thing when I was older, because once I got, trying to act too cool for Christmas and everything else, you know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, like I said, I was up before them. I was walking around the tree. I was counting, how many did Sarah get? How many did Heather get? How many did I get? Let's see here. Scott Baker says that his parent did that with his Power Wheels truck. Man, I always wanted Power Wheels. I never got them. But they look so badass in those commercials. J-Max says Santa bringing you Centurions is awesome. Skelly Vader wanted me to delete the adult bots. He's not a fan, apparently. And J-Max says that one year all of his Masters toys were unwrapped and wrapped around the bottom of the tree. So, like, they wrapped them to the tree?
I think he means that they were like they had them around the bottom of the tree, just like they wrapped them, as in like they put them in a circle. From how that sounds.
But did they wrap them to the tree like Peter Pan hostage style, or?
I took it that they wrapped them in, like,
J-Mac,
like
we need some clarification here. And why were they unwrapped first? Or does it mean like they were?
He had to save them.
Or does it mean like they were out of the package? We need some answers, J-Mac. Let us know. Speaking of that, it wasn't for Christmas, but for Easter. Whenever I got action figures, my mom would take them off the card and just stick them in my Easter basket, and it would always tick me off that I didn't get to rip them open. Like, that was always a big thing for me.
Wait, what? You got toys at Easter?
Yeah, like usually like one. Yeah, like I remember getting C-3PO from the Power of the Force line for Easter. Like, it wasn't like a lot, but like the basket would have like candy and maybe like a puzzle, and then like maybe like an action figure,
There was one Easter I remember. I think I had a Transformer or something, and that was like, my mom knew that would keep me busy most of the day because I would be over at my grandparents', and she knew that drove me crazy around the religious holidays. So if I had a Transformer, at least I was occupied. So
it was just like one thing. It wasn't just. Okay, so J-Mac clarifies that they were just sitting around the tree unwrapped, and he thought it was awesome. All right. I misread that. I pictured like a bunch of toys like tied to the Christmas tree. So,
well, we could definitely see the difference between my thinking and your thinking, just in us explaining that to each other. It's like your version would traumatize poor J-Mac, and my version would have just been, "Hey, look, that's cool. They're all out. I can play with them now."
Yeah. Well, that's what I did not. I think we're retreading a little bit here, but real quick. I did not like when my stuff was put together. Or, like I said, like when it was open, like, it drove me nuts. Like, part of getting the playset or the figure was, like, opening it and pulling out the accessories. And, like Jesse said, Castle Grayskull, putting it together. Even though I hated the decals, putting the decals on. Like, anything I got that was already open and ready to go, I'm like, oh okay. Like, I guess I just play with it now. Like, it was still awesome, but it was, like, for me, a large part of it was, like, even to this day, I mean, you see, like, I'm taking my time opening up my figures for display and stuff. Like, I'm not rushing through it. I want to, like, opening is just as big of a part of it for me as getting whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, like, the year I got Castle Grayskull, like, that year was the one where I still remember I was just ogling that box art. I didn't even want to take it out of the box right away because I needed to soak in the Rudy Obrera goodness. And then that made me go, okay, now I know how I'm going to do my playtime through the rest of this day. Once I get it out of the box, we're going to do this. We're going to make it epic or whatever compared to it. Like if I saw like yours, it'd be like, oh, it's kind of like the catalog. It's already prepared for me. But then the other part of it would be like, but I like the artwork. Why did you take it from me?
Well, I would space them out. Like, I wouldn't open everything on Christmas. Like, I'd leave something like, oh, I'm going to open... I specifically remember Manosaur when I got that. Excuse me. I remember waiting like a week and then opening him and putting him together. Yeah,
You're like a Vulcan or something. What? How can you do that?
So, like, every day I'd open a bunch of stuff on Christmas Day, but then I'd leave some stuff, like... Because at some point, I would want to start playing, too. So, like, I'd open some stuff, I'd start playing, and then, like, the next day I'd open something else, and then the next day I'd open something else. And Jesse's looking at me like I'm crazy.
I can't fathom that one.
That's also, I mean, to this day, I've got to I haven't opened the Furious 4 and the Unknown and the Cowros that Shawn sent me. Because I'm waiting till I can open, and I'll open one at a time, and I'll take them out, and that's...
I believe it, but
I'm the kid that was opening the toys in the car on the way home, despite my mother warning me I was going to lose parts. Like, I did
that too when I got
when we were coming home from Legions Con last year.
Yep.
If it wasn't open before we got in the car, I finished opening it in the car because Shawn was driving.
Mm-hmm. And he was showing me all the stuff, and I'm trying not to wreck, but trying to also like, that's awesome, or whatever. And then he's like, I'm gonna do this with it, and all that. And it's like he and we used to go to toy stores when we were kids because we weren't quite out of that age.
Yeah.
And we would do that on like if his mom drove us to the store or my mom drove us, it didn't matter. We'd be like in the back there just ripping stuff open and start putting accessories together and everything because I was that kid. You give me something in a box that I really wanted, that box is not going to last long in my hands. So
no, see, if I just got one thing, like if we were at the store and I got like a figure, yes, absolutely. It's when I got Christmas, like or birthday, where I had you have all of this stuff. That's when I would do it. So
sure.
Anru says he had something similar. He had 20 to 30 Masters one year.
Wow.
It was in a cardboard Santa workshop, all unwrapped. Santa was good that year. That is good year. And identity theft is not a joke, Jim, says Mr. Arnold is looking flabbergasted. Yes, I took him for a ride with that one. And on that note, let's give away another present. This is also from my mom. This one does not have a flap phone. It does still feel like it's got a window on front. This is not the present.
Is this the whole reason you're doing the show, so you can like feel up your presents and try to guess what they are?
You act like I haven't already felt them up, but it is a little bit more fun with people watching.
Look, you keep throwing landmines at me, so it's like I don't even know you.
The dude is a present exhibitionist. It's better when people are watching.
Sean, give me a number. And again,
7.
Disclaimer, this is not the present that you will be receiving, but you will be receiving something equally amazing.
You're going to get the Dooch's underwear. That's going to happen.
And of course...
It's not his if he hasn't worn it.
That's true.
Oh, I would never send you... No, we're going to leave that. Dusty Standiford, you are our winner of the second present. So reach out to me, PM. Again, I am not revealing, but trust me, they are awesome. Two especially, I would love to win myself. I might have to stake my name on there. But yes, Dusty Standiford, you won present number 2. It will be on its way to you, and you can decide if you want to wait for it to open it up.
Open it right away. Don't wait.
Or
open it right away.
Open it right away, as Mr. Arnold impatiently said.
Stop calling me Mr. Arnold. Not a teacher.
Mr. Arnold.
Well, when you're
Are
on the
you going to
Mythics
give me
101,
detention?
Okay.
that's when you should be Mr. Arnold right there.
No. I look at the time.
Yeah, freckle past the hair already.
It's weird AF o'clock. Time for me to go.
Dusty, PM me. I will say, I got one last thing on presents here. Just, I mean, Shawn and I have talked, 3 years in a row now about, different presents and stuff. So I think we've hit most of our like big stuff. But there's one that I still remember vividly to this day, and it's we were in the house in Buchanan, so it had to have been like 93 or 94. And so like obviously into turtles at that time and everything. And my days of getting Masters toys were past, you know. And I just remember I opened. It was just the weirdest combination. I don't know if that's why I remembered it, but it was my last Masters figure I ever got as a present. And so I get the present. It actually was. It was big and heavy, and I opened it up, and it was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles garbage can, one of the good, steel ones with the character logo or design on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that, sweet. But again, it's just a trash can at the end of the day. But I mean, it was cool. But then I look inside of the trash can, and there is Grizzlord in there. And so it's just kind of that combination of like, oh, cool trash can, and then like, holy shit, it's a Masters figure, and it's Grizzlord, and like I never had Grizzlord up in that point. One of my old babysitters used to have him. I'd play with him there, and just because it like wasn't even on my radar that like, oh, it's a possibility of still getting. And to this day, I don't know if like it's something, because my mom was famous for like she'd buy a bunch of stuff and hide it and then forget she had it. So I'm assuming it's one of those where she was cleaning out something, or actually that would have been like the Christmas right after we moved there. So maybe in the move, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, it's just one of those weird moments, and that's just one that just sticks in my head. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a Grizzlord, but just like the fact that it was so unexpected, where I'm getting all these turtle stuff, and then it's like, oh shit, I have another thing, because I still played with He-Man and everything, but like I thought that was it. That was my collection. That's all it ever was going to be. I didn't even think of it as a collection at that point, to be honest. But it's just one of those moments where it's like, oh shit, like this stuff's still out there. Now eBay, you can find anything, anywhere, anytime.
The magic's gone.
You guys have anything like that where it's not necessarily a big thing, but it left a lasting memory with you?
I got a hamster.
I never got any live animals. Not for Christmas. I also hate.
Yeah, it was my big gift that year. It was like, oh, but wait, there's one more. And, in this was when we were with my stepdad, and like, he tried to play the Santa thing, but like I said, the Santa thing was never a thing for us growing up. So it was just a weird, anyway. Yeah. And like, he brings I don't know if there was a blanket over it, but then they brought like the wire cage out with the hamster and everything in it. Right. And yeah, that story has a tragic ending. So, on Christmas Day, it was very surprising and very fun, and it was very, yeah.
I don't I don't know if I have anything like that. Like, I don't know. There was a point where it's like once I realized that it was my parents doing a lot of that stuff, it made me appreciate it more, I guess is the best way I can describe it. And I guess I guess for me, like the guitar probably would have been one of those because my dad was dead set against it. My mom was the one, pulling for me to get it. And I was up until 3 or 4 in the morning playing that thing because I was so happy to get it. And like that would have been the closest, but I can't think of anything where it was like, okay, it might have jumped to Christmas to get to another Christmas and show up under the tree for me or anything like that.
Real quick. Yeah, they've all exited for the moment. I got a bunch of kids running back and forth. One thing we do now, we've kind of bridged the difference because when I was growing up, it was always like there was a bunch of Santa presents under the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then hearing about Jesse, like, they, never did the
Mm-hmm.
Santa thing. So, what we've landed on, me and my wife, and it's closer to what her family used to do, is Santa brings a present.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I never really thought about it growing up, but it makes sense now as I'm older. Like, I'm thinking, like, hey, Santa got somebody a PlayStation 5, and then Santa got somebody else a coloring book. Like, what's that do for
Santa
them?
thinks you're a dick.
Right. So, I don't know. I just, being personally, I'm like, I like that better than, and I think, and honestly, I've said it before on the show, but like the thing that made me go, oh, like Shawn said, Santa, my parents, is getting a present from Santa that I was with my mom when she bought it. And it's like, oh, okay. So like, we go all out. I want to keep the magic alive as long as possible for them. Like I think, but at the same time, it's like, but we buy one thing for each of them from Santa. We keep it separate, completely hidden, and we even buy a different wrapping paper than anything else, and that's
Yep.
all we use
We
it for. So,
we do that here too. And that, like, last year was the year where my daughter finally came, like she found out a couple different ways what the deal was. And it wasn't through us. It was through there was a kid at school that apparently told her whole class his opinions on Santa. And then she like typically we do the elf on the shelf and we try to hide those after the season, but my wife grabbed them and put them away last year instead of me doing it. And then she found them and it was in a place where it was easier for her to find this past year. So she was upset last year. She was like almost in tears. And we actually sat down at the dinner table and had to discuss that with her. And we did that whole thing. And it was all culminated with finding the actual editorial of, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus, and telling her through this, as well as my wife and my perspectives, that is like Santa is the person that you think of as the spirit of the giving and the spirit of making sure everybody gets taken care of and nobody gets left behind at Christmas, and the good nature to that, but I tried reading that and it was the hardest thing for me because I'm like, my daughter just grew up right in front of my eyes by her and I having this discussion. So I actually blubbered my way through half of it. And I handed my phone to my wife and I go, you have to finish this. I'm not going to make my way through this. She finished it like a champ. But at the end of the night, we both were just like, damn, she's now not that kid anymore. So yeah, that was a hard year last year, but she's keeping it well alive and well for our son. He's still like, Santa. It's like, okay, we got that one at least.
No, that's the way it should be. Put your guns on. Welcome. He just got here.
Yeah.
Thanks for
It's been ages.
It's been a minute. And Identity Theft says, Merry Christmas, Clark, 1955. found in 1989.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a long time. Is that like a card you found? Or a present? that
Christmas
said Merry
Vacation,
Christmas
I
to-
think.
Huh?
Christmas Vacation, the movie.
Oh, is
National
that?
Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I think it's from that.
Oh, okay.
I haven't. I gotta watch that one sometime because it's been ages since I've
Yeah, I
watched
remember
that
good things, but it's been probably 5+ years since I've watched it.
one.
Oh, and my son just texted me and wants to know if he can have his name on the list for the giveaways. No, you cannot. It's you live in the same household, you are excluded
Yep,
from the contest.
exactly.
He has to give up one of his Christmas presents to someone.
You
So you
get-
get
Yeah.
included.
that's what I'm doing, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, let's go ahead and give away another one. Shawn, pick a Masters character.
Pick a Masters character.
Yes.
Fanny Faces.
Manefaces.
Are
you doing like that kid thing with like the paper?
I remember those. I never could figure those out. It's like that string when they'd come up to you with the string and you'd either and then you'd have a different thing.
I could
always
never do
ruin
any
that
of the
stuff,
string
too.
tricks. Not at all. But we do have a winner, Mr. Skelly Vader. Congratulations. You are getting present number 3.
I know him.
And we have someone new. Congrats, Skelly. I'll get yours out to you. We do have somebody new in the chat. Jessica Duck? Douche? How do you... I don't know how to pronounce that last name. And she says you're boring. With the wrong "your." So that might actually be my son on her phone. Sorry, honey, you're also excluded. If that is actually you. Congrats, Skelly. We will get your present out to you.
Nice.
So, during the holidays, obviously a big part of it is the decorations and everything else. I'm assuming. Maybe not. Is there anything... I guess kind of going into that holiday tradition, holiday decorations like that you guys really looked forward to. I can go with mine first if it kind of helps the vein of what I'm looking for. I would always look forward to getting out 2 different decorations, and one, they were both action figure-esque, obviously. So one was they were plushes, but they were the Muppet Babies. They had to have been like a fast food promo, and they had like Christmas attire on. Jesse, you remember what I'm talking about?
I think so.
It was like Kermit, and he had like a scarf, and Miss Piggy had like a hat. Yeah, but it was the Muppet Babies. Skelly probably knows. He's a big Muppets guy. And I want to say I know we had Kermit and Miss Piggy, and I want to say we had Fozzie too. And that was always just a really, we'd pull them out, and of course I would play with them and everything, and it's just like, and they were extra special because it was just that once a year that, because then they go back, my mom would always put them back with the Christmas decorations, so.
Mm-hmm.
And Anru says that McDonald's, so apparently we're McDonald's.
Yeah.
Promos. So do you guys have anything like that? Like you look for oh man, I can't wait to get those out again.
As a kid, I don't think we did, but I know for right now in our house, the one that really the kids absolutely love is my mother is a big Hallmark ornament fan. And every year she buys up a whole bunch, and it's based on all of our likes. So, like this year, my son got a Sonic the Hedgehog one because Sonic's one of his absolute favorites. She got me like a David Tennant Doctor Who ornament, which shocked the heck out of me, and an Optimus Prime. And when my daughter saw Optimus Prime, she's like, "Don't do it! Don't do it!" Go transform and roll out. And she goes, "Oh, now he's gonna do it all Christmas." And I'm like, "Roll out, Evan!" And she just she can't
Transform and
stand it.
hang on the tree.
But the thing that my kids love is my mom. She got these interactive ornaments at Hallmark in the last year, and it's the Nightmare Before Christmas. And if you start one, it does like a whole thing on the tree, depending where you have the others. And it's like a call and answer kind of deal with these ornaments. And they'll turn off the lights, only the Christmas tree light is on, and they'll play that, and it's like 20 minutes long of all the songs and like different dialogue points of the movie, and they will sit there captivated like it's a Christmas tradition that they get the tree to have a story with them, and it's like, for me, that makes me go, that's pretty cool. But
I want to see this.
I'll do a video.
Yes.
I don't know how long it would take. I'll have to find a way to get it to you if it's longer than a couple seconds, obviously. But the other thing I do remember from my childhood, now that I think about it, is it was my mom had a Kermit the Frog where he was sitting, and then his legs would drape over the mantelpiece, and his one foot stuck out, and I could put my stocking on his foot and hang it from the fireplace.
Nice.
And he had a Santa hat, and he was like sitting there, and he'd just be smiling, and he's holding my stocking for me on Christmas morning. And I always thought that was a really cool little thing that my mom found. So
we used to have the stocking hangers, and it was like, there's like a snowman, and his broom like went down to form the hook, and there was a cat, and it was a tail, and then there was like, I think a candy cane or something like. And I remember whenever we would, like, you'd always try and be first because we didn't have we had assigned stockings that we'd pull out.
Yeah.
But like the hangers, it was basically like Wild Wild West. Whoever found them first, like, got to take the one. I remember fighting over the snowman. Everybody wanted the snowman, and then it was like cat, and then like, whoever was left, like, fuck, I got the candy cane. Damn it! Next year.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jesse? Anything in the vein of decorations or just once a year?
There was a couple things I remember as a kid that I really liked. I don't remember how exactly we made them, but there were two little wooden ones we made, ornaments. One was a reindeer out of like clothespins.
Yeah.
You glued like two together, and then you glued one upside down, and you put like the little red nose on it, and like googly eyes. I absolutely loved putting that on the tree. And there was another one made out of popsicle sticks. That was like a classic sled.
Oh, okay.
It was like,
it
had I still have mine.
Nice.
And it's got green and red yarn coming up, that you hang it with, and it says like Jesse. I think it was from like 19. It wasn't I don't think it was the year I was born. It wasn't that, but it was. And there were one for all of us with our names on it. My mom, I love my mom's handwriting, so she like hand wrote our names on it and everything. So those two were great. A little bit later was the stocking holder I had. I still have it.
Nice.
It's like a kind of like cartoony looking like teddy bear with, I think he's got like a Santa hat and he's holding a wreath or something, and then the ribbon coming off the wreath is the hook. And then I still have my Ninja Turtle stocking from around the time I met Shawn.
I had a Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. It's like Raph like stuffing presents in a stocking or hanging a stocking on the fireplace or something. I don't remember exactly, but
yours sounds even cooler than mine. I think mine was just like, kind of like the generic, like the 4 in the sewer grate, but they had hats on them.
Okay.
Like, I don't remember it being original art. It was more like that promo, like reused. Yeah,
this was definitely like the cartoon, like that. Like promotional style artwork that you only saw on the packaging and stuff. But now, one of my favorite things is like my mom had it. It was one of those like ceramic villages at one point where she'd set these boxes up and put like fake snow out and like a little mirror for like it was cut so it was like a frozen lake with ice skaters, and it was all the little like ceramic figurines and stuff. And that was probably like middle school, high school when she started doing that. And my brother Joe got into all the Lego Christmas villages, so like Santa's workshop and all that stuff. I always thought those were really cool, and by the time I realized they were a thing, I couldn't go back and get them. So I have my Pop Christmas Village, the Funko Pops.
Yeah.
So they only come out at Christmas. So I have some of the Marvel and DC characters and Disney characters and Star Wars characters, even though Star Wars don't celebrate Christmas, whatever. And then they have, yeah, but they've got like Darth Vader's got a candy cane instead of his his lightsaber or whatever, and Chewie's wrapped up in Christmas lights, and they were a little fun, and that's why I got them. But Funko did their own line, I think like Peppermint Lane, where it was like a couple of buildings that would light up, and it was like Santa's North Pole. So there's like little animals and critters and different things that ran the businesses and stuff. So I set that up every year, because I'm a child.
No, I love it. I can't wait to, I got my Krampus out. I still have to open up my Father Christmas. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, those are definitely two that I want to get into displays in the coming.
Those stay out all year though. Well, I mean, Krampus has, so Santa and or Father Christmas and the Headless Horseman will stay out all year.
Krampus, he joins my Legion of Erethyr during the off season. I'm not sure about Father Christmas. Father Christmas is one I could see being like the Muppet Babies. Like, I pack him up and I bring him back out when we decorate. Krampus just fits so easily into the demons, you know what I mean? But Father Christmas is more to me that... we're talking about the Mythic Legions figures in case anyone's not into that.
Figure Obscura.
Yes, using Mythic Legions parts. 4 Horsemen, they're awesome. But yeah, I'm not sure how Father Christmas will fit year round, but like I said, I could see him being, my new guy that I go to. The other one that I really remember from childhood, and I actually was thinking I should ask my mom whatever happened to him if he's still around, is we had a little Rudolph. I don't think it was marketed as Rudolph, but a little red-nosed reindeer. And you could flip the switch on him, and he would walk, and he would shake his head, and the nose would light up. And he was probably, it's probably about that big, that tall. Like, you could put a Masters figure, like, on him, like they were riding him. And yeah, I used to love playing. Again, it's basically just a toy, but it's one of those that we only bring out at Christmas time. I would play with him a ton, and then he'd go back into the box, into decorations, and I'd see him next year.
I do have one more thing I need to mention, and Shawn got to see this last week. A couple years ago, some friends gave me a very special Christmas gift. Shawn and some other people are very well aware of the fact that screaming goats crack me up. So I absolutely love that part of Thor: Love and Thunder. So I've talked about that on this channel at one point. Yep. But a couple years ago, my good friends that we'll sometimes just watch YouTube videos and like whatever, the little short fail videos and all this stuff. And I got such a kick out of the goat videos. They actually gave me, I think it's from Hallmark, a stuffed goat. His eyes are going different directions. You turn it on. It's battery operated. It's got like a scarf and a hat on. And I think it like bahs its way through like Jingle Bells or something.
Right.
And then it screams every now and then. And at the end, it's motorized. So it like throws itself up and falls over. And I have it out all year. It's like up on behind a chair. But at Christmas, I get it out and, yeah.
I love it.
I got to see it in action last week, and I was like, only you would be the perfect person to get this gift. Like I've never met somebody that loves those screaming goats as much as Jesse does. So, and the fact that at the end it screams and then it falls over, I was like, it's genius. That's
It makes me smile.
No, I love that kind of stuff, and I think it's made all the more special because some of the stuff, it's that once a year thing. It's something to look forward to. It's the traditions at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And speaking of traditions, it has become a tradition on the show to give out presents. So let's give out another present. I've got at least a couple more to give away. I asked for some numbers in the chat this time. Identity theft is not a joke. Jim is the last one I see as I'm saying this, so he said 42. Feel free to fill the air while I count 42.
Oh, we have to fill the air.
Wait, what's going on?
At by now.
We're filling the air.
Oh.
Excuse me. My son will do that. He walked around tonight. He just goes, "You hear that?" And then he goes, and he just smiles at you, and you're like, "Oh, he's this kid. This is so."
I'll show
awesome.
you this. We were talking about Father Christmas, Figure Obscura, and Shawn. There's
thank
repaint.
you. Yeah,
Nice.
that's cool.
So I gotta seal up the beard a little bit so it doesn't flake off. But yeah, that one's ready for you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And present number 4 is going to good friend of the show. You're all good friends, but this is one of the good friends. Going to Scott Baker. Scott, congratulations. Nice. You are getting present number 4. I think I got... Yeah, I got 2 more presents to give away, guys, so stick with us. We'll do it.
Okay.
So now that is for Shawn himself, or you're just showing Shawn?
No, that's for Shawn.
Nice. Shawn, what do you plan on doing with a black Father Christmas? Black beard Father Christmas?
He will be a barbarian in my ranks.
It's a dark brown.
Come
on.
He'll be the
you
one. You
don't have the best lighting, right? You got your mood lighting going.
What is best in life, Saint Nick? Crush your enemies. See them driven before you. Hear the lamentation of the elves. Crush the presents.
Dunk your cookies in milk. Feed your reindeer.
Legion Slayer's going to come back and go, you guys, we do that. You guys aren't doing that.
Jumping back...
To the chimney. Get to the chimney now.
Get to the chimney.
Jumping back a minute here. My son is screeching upstairs. I think he thinks he's Scott Baker. I don't know. It was confirmed that identity theft was referencing Christmas Vacation.
Yep.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think doesn't he find a present when he's stuck up in the attic? Yeah, I think that's the scene.
Is it?
Now that I'm thinking
I think
about
it's like, if I remember it, it's like in Iron Man 2. He finds the old movies up there, and he's watching the old movies from the 50s when he was growing up or whatever. Because when they did it in Iron Man 2, it made me a flashback for that, actually. I was like, oh, well, that's convenient. Look at that. The guy that directed Elf is now taking a riff on Christmas Vacation in a Marvel movie on top of that.
So now, jumping back to Father Christmas and all that. Now, Shawn, I know you've seen the Naughty or Nice version of Barbarian Santa, where he's got a polar bear cowl and everything. Yep. Is that something that you guys are picking up? Did both of you pick up Father Christmas?
I did not. I wasn't able to for a couple of different reasons, but that one, when I found it, it was the day after I was on Legion's Lair, if I remember right. And the thing that got me was last weekend when I was hanging out with Jesse, I actually mentioned the Fire and Ice Ralph Bakshi movie, and I was saying how it'd be cool if they had a Legion's character who had the wolf mask, like the guy in that movie. And then I see that, and the night before doing Legion Slayer, they asked, well, what would my figure have looked like? And I just went with this. I couldn't think for the life of me. Curtis Ackerman gave me garbage because he goes, oh, now it's like you took over Steven's podcast and now you're stealing his helmet too. And I'm like, well, I'm borrowing the helmet, but
yeah.
But long story short, I saw that and I go, that is exactly what I wanted for my Legion's character. I just didn't know I wanted it until I saw that. Like, that would have been me. I would have been like, give me that thing. And I want one, to be honest. The Barbarian Santa kid, I was giggling. And I showed my daughter. My daughter's just like, I don't get it. I go, this is why you fail. Like, I don't. It's brilliant.
Wow.
That and I love the it's the Barbarian Santa, and then I love the F around and find out Santa too. That would kill me. So yes, I absolutely would love that figure on my shelf one of these days. The Barbarian one in particular, that is the must-have out of that line.
Right. And it's kind of interesting because I bring this. I know it was a little bit of drama. Yeah, we're ripping off a Steve Bisciotti podcast again, but
here we go.
I mean, even we in our personal group chat, the email came out for Figure Obscura. For those of you who don't know, real quick here, when they do Figure Obscura, it's they did the Krampus first year. They did Headless Horseman this past Halloween, and we got an email saying they were doing one in December. They never reveal it before it's actually available for sale, and it's always in hand and it ships out fast. And I think we all speculated. We pretty much got to where it's got to be a Santa. Jesse was the first to go. It's probably Father Christmas rather than Santa, because he's got the mind for the Horsemen and the Legions, and like he's dialed into that community. But for most of us, at least our first instinct was, oh, I can't wait to see how they make Santa into Mythic Legions. And I think we all kind of went initially with that, oh, is he going to be a barbarian? Is he going to be, is he going to have an axe? Is he going to do this and that? And there was obviously some backlash when he was revealed, and he's basically just Father Christmas, as you would imagine, But it's interesting because this is the first figure to get that backlash for, but that's what they've done with all of the Figure Obscura so far. The Krampus is the Krampus. Headless Horseman is the Headless Horseman. Like, it's just kind of something interesting that Father Christmas is the one that gets the backlash, but they've said up front, like Jesse said, when I said it was a Mythic Legions Father Christmas, he said, no, it's not Mythic Legions, it's Figure Obscura.
Yeah.
But just kind of interesting that Father Christmas was that one that actually made people go, but, they didn't Mythic Legionize the other two. It's just, I'm assuming just because he's not a demon, he's not a monster. It's just kind of an interesting dynamic there.
He's, I don't have all the figures for Mythic Legions by any means, but like the thing for me that when I saw it was, I was like, he's so pure. Yeah. I think that's the thing about it that made me just go like, I was not prepared for that. Compared to like Krampus fits in. You don't have to put all the accessories on him. He'll fit in as a demon, And Headless Horseman, you get a freaking horse out of the deal on that one. And I love that they even have the neck hole so that you can have here's the muscle and the bone that he cut through when he lost his head and all that stuff. So I dig that, and there are definitely like dark sides to those figures that work well if you put them into your shelf as a Mythic Legions figure. But when you look at Father Christmas, it's like it's pure. What anything in Mythic Legions other than probably like Sir Gideon would be the figure that makes sense right there with Santa or Father Christmas. And I can't pick a one. So, like,
Right.
I
Even
didn't
I
figure
said,
it would
you
be a
know, Krampus
barbarian,
goes back.
but I wished it would have been a barbarian, I guess is the way I want to say it.
Right. Even I said Krampus goes right back into Legion of Aether after the holidays. But Father
Yeah.
Christmas will probably go back, you know. Go back. I figured I might as well open this since we're talking about him so much. Might as well show him off a little bit because I hadn't even had a chance to open him yet. Because I did not jump on him initially. I waited.
You held out, yeah.
Huh?
You held out for a little bit.
Yeah, I was waiting for payday. And then
Yeah.
I really wanted the mug, which I will unwrap it. It's actually really securely wrapped. And then the mug had sold out. Like, it sold out before the regular figure did. Because you could get them by themselves this time. And I just happened to jump on one day after I got paid, and all of a sudden the all-in was back in stock. And there was only like 2 of them. And I managed to grab one, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, so for those who don't know, this is the Mythic Legions figure obscura from the makers of Mythic Legions. Father Christmas, Nate Barch artwork. Same thing as the Krampus. It's got the whole detachable, magnetic backdrop. Nate's artwork is phenomenal. And I've heard that these magnets are actually strong enough to like attach to the fridge. You have to try that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there he is. I'm not going to take him all the way out of the package now. But yes, he is a very traditional Father Christmas. He's got the holly wreath. You know, he's the thinner, like, you know, straight out of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Which is where I really remember hearing the first about Father Christmas, being an American. But lots of cool accessories. He's got little toys. He's got a sack. He's got a lantern and a staff, and it's just a phenomenal. I'm really, like I said, I'm really glad I picked him up.
Be careful taking the trumpet out.
I've heard that the trumpet is wedged in there nicely. So Jesse, what are your thoughts on the figure and/or is he, now you're the first one to jump on Father Christmas, so you know. Did he turn out as well as you expected? Are you still disappointed that he wasn't more barbarian?
No. I'm thrilled with the way he turned out, and not because I guessed right. I initially, when people were talking about it, like it seemed like a Santa type character was going to be the way they go. And of course, when you're thinking Four Horsemen, you do think Mythic Legions because Cosmic isn't out yet. So like, as separate as a line from Mythic Legions that is, nobody has them in hand yet, and it's cool. And you know, the figure obscura is a completely separate line using similar pieces, but every figure has come with new stuff.
Yep.
And that thus far have been limited to those specific figures, unless they did like the Krampus, they did the red re-release, but it's all the same stuff, just a different colorway. You know, I was initially thinking, I've not read the comic. There's a comic series, I think it's Grant Morrison, and Dan Mora did a series called Claws. It's like, I think three short mini-series. And it's not, I don't think he's a full-on barbarian, but it's definitely a little more action-oriented. The art, Dan Mora is a fantastic artist, and I've not read them yet, but it looks really cool. So that was my first thought was, you know, kind of like, I pulled up a picture of one of the covers in a thread and thought that. And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, figure obscura is folklore. It's not Mythic Legions. And then I was just like, and then just Father Christmas, just because I was just searching pictures. And then I thought of Father Christmas from Narnia. So I was trying to find that picture. And, you know, next morning, that's what we find out it was. And, you know, it was exciting to be right.
Yep.
But I thought the figure looked great. You know, drama's going to happen because, you know, like Jeremy has said in his show and other people have said before, like, you can't please everybody with every single figure. And, but I know he said that this was, I believe he said this was the one they sold the most of. they ordered more of this
Right.
than they had Headless Horseman or Krampus. And they had more left over because they ordered more, but they also sold more in the initial sales than
Yeah.
they ever had for a figure obscura. So I think it's really cool. I think it's a beautiful figure. I love the soft goods on it.
Oh yeah, it looks amazing. Even better
I
in
love
hand.
the two different heads are great. I mean, I know some people don't like hiding their figures behind soft goods, but I'm like, a figure like this, like those soft goods make that character.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love it. Yeah, Nate Barch's artwork on those boxes. I mean, it's just like
Mm-hmm.
I've got the box sitting up on my shelf. You can't see it behind me over here,
Right.
but just seeing that picture of him on the cover with like the owl flying behind him, and then there's like a reindeer behind him on the side. It just like, even now I'm just getting goosebumps. That just feel like I said,
Yeah.
we weren't really a Santa people growing up, but like that portrayal of him, there's something more magical. It's not as much about the commercial, and I mean, he's got toys and stuff, but it feels like that more fantasy style of Santa, not just
And the traditional.
chubby
the one
Santa
present,
drinking Coca-Cola and sliding down your chimney to all the kids in the world Santa, which is fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that Santa, but this one speaks more to me than regular Santa.
He does exist. They do exist. No, I agree, and that's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm tempted. I'm not saying I'm going to put him away at the end of the season because, well, I will admit he doesn't slide as easily into the factions of Mythic Legions as Krampus does. But I like seeing the packaging, seeing this artwork. It feels Christmas to me, and so I want to recreate that feeling. I mean, that's what this is all about, right? When we all get down to collecting all that, it's about chasing some of those childhood feelings, at least a part of it. And so if I can put pack him back up in this beautiful Nate Barch artwork, put him in the tote with the Christmas decorations, and then next year I get to pull him back out and experience it and open him up again. Take it just like, the Muppet Babies we didn't, but like Rudolph, like we had his box. Like I remember putting him back in the box at the end of the season and taking him back at. I mean, we've already gone about how I'm weird about my opening stuff, but like, but that's a part of it too. Like opening back up, taking him back out, sending him back up. Like that. This to me is going to be that new Christmas tradition in that same vein, and that's. I'm not putting him away because I'm like, I don't know what to do with him. Like, I could leave him out. He'd fit in on my shelf. He'd look awesome all year. But I'm looking forward to bringing him back out again and having that be the new part of that tradition for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, this mug is beautiful. Who said that?
Yeah.
Did. I didn't.
I wanted to do an all-in, but I have too many mugs, and I don't. I mean, all I ever use them for are dunking cookies in milk or making hot chocolate.
Yeah, hot cocoa. That's what I use my mugs for. So,
so I have more mugs than I'll ever use, and but that pin, I'm hoping to have some of those pins at ZoloCon.
Yeah, I did get the pin, obviously,
because I'm going to have a shelf that is figure obscure. So there's like the Universal Monsters. You know, they have like their own section of shelf, right? I think the figure obscure is going to have its own kind of year round as the line grows. They'll just be all together in their own spot with the pins and the key or keys if they make more.
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to get all the figures in the mugs, which unfortunately I had to miss out on everything with the Headless Horseman. But hopefully I can pick one of those up one of these days. And the first mugs were harder because you had to get the all-in. For the Headless Horseman and Krampus, the mugs only came with the all-in. Now with Father Christmas, they started selling some mugs separately. So, again, I waited too long and they sold out, but at least it looks like that's going to be an option going forward. So I should be able to get away with just the mug and the figure.
And I'm hoping the next one isn't specifically. I know they've said it's not specifically holiday themed, but some because folklore ties into so many holidays. That's so I'm excited to see, whatever's next. And I'll do a little plug for them right now. If you don't want to be surprised because they don't give us a lot of time, they give us an email like the day before, and then the next, like a day later, the stuff drops.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get in on these or know someone who would want to, they've got gift cards now on Store Horseman.
Mm-hmm.
You just buy a gift card and you're ready to go for whenever that next figure obscura drops.
I didn't even think about it that way. It's not a bad idea. It'll work for a lot of their. I assume you'll be able to use a gift card for their pre-orders too.
Oh yeah.
So you could actually almost even forgetting the present part of it, just like treat it as a savings account where every week I buy a gift card, and it's like I'm stocking up, and then it's tied up where you can only use it on their website, and you don't dip into it for something.
Now, I was given a gift card so I could get this from a very generous person. You do have to input each code. So this is not going to be a quick checkout. So this probably would not be the best way to go for an in-stock sale unless you have a large gift card that's ready to go.
No, I was thinking more of the pre-order, because then the pre-orders come up. The all-ins usually around like $500 or $600. So if like I've got this in there and you can stock up in the non-pre-order windows and then go from there.
Absolutely.
Let's try and get the chat going a little bit. I know you guys are still there. I can see you. Obviously, we babble a lot about Mythic Legions here, which seems to happen every time we have Jesse on the show. But
it's every time we are on the show.
You talk about it when I'm not here.
I've listened Jesse
like once,
at least
twice.
It's actually we'll do some more of that in our New Year's show. I always do a kind of wrap. But real quick here. Chat, drop a favorite gift that you remember getting, an action figure, play set, whether it's big or small, just something like instant. When I say Christmas present as a kid, what's the toy, whatever that pops into your head? Let me know down in the chat. It's funny, I'm not gonna reveal it all yet, but I was going through our statistics and everything. Shawn knows usually around the first of the year I like to kind of do our year in review with views and likes and videos and stuff. And obviously this year was a little bit down. That's no surprise because we took a couple months off there with all of my issues and whatnot. So, but I found it interesting because we were talking a little bit on the last episode, Shawn. When we started the idea for this show, there was nothing. And so our whole premise was we were going to, go back over all the stuff that we grew up with and, the past stories. 2000X we were going to hit hard. And then, it felt like everything exploded. And I actually looked back and I didn't realize how quickly everything exploded because literally our second episode, we discussed those teaser pics for the CGI He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. The one where it was just He-Man in the shadow and like just the face of Skeletor in the shadow. So it's like, I hadn't remembered it being that instant. I mean, granted, there was the production time and everything, but it was like, episode 1, we're talking about 2000X and kind of our introduction, and then episode 2, it's like, oh, they're coming out with a new tune.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of an interesting timeline there.
But then it took them, about a year and a half until they gave us anything else out of that.
Yes.
Because that was I loved how when that was revealed, it was a big thing for a week, and then nothing. And then I think the first news we heard about it was somebody associated to the production going, well, we wrapped season 1. Yep. That's great. Thanks to all the cast. And we're like, oh, well, at least we know that's still going on somewhere out there, And
then all of a sudden they were like, hey, next week you're going to get 13 episodes.
Yeah.
And I actually prefer it that way. So we got Anru. He remembers the Sega Genesis stands out to him. J-Mac was his original NES. Identity theft. He likes a TMNT storage shell turtles when he was 5. I had Raphael. That was the only storage shell I had, but he was awesome. And he says, unexpectedly one year he got a bunch of my cousin's original TMNT toy line. And that's the last one I see as I'm doing this, so let's give away one more present. In that comment, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 words. So, Jesse loves how my mind works.
I don't like numbers.
He's the Riddler. I'm telling you.
Numbers, mayonnaise, and spiders. Get out of here.
And J-Mac, you are the winner of present number 5. Congratulations, sir. Nice. I can't wait to see you open that. We got one more present to give away, so stay tuned, you guys. These last two are fun. You're going to love
Johnny
them.
Five is alive?
Johnny Five is alive. So, how about Christmas movies? I don't think we've really gotten into this aside from...
we did. When you abandoned us.
We did, but we can do it even more because it won't be recorded.
They don't know that.
Yeah, exactly. We had...
They know that.
For those of you listening to it,
but they don't know that. But you know that Shawn knows that I know that they don't, that you know.
You think there's people going to watch this that aren't watching this live?
The numbers absolutely say there's 2 people that watch it on the rerun.
Get out of here with that hocus pocus number nonsense.
So yeah, I mean, obviously He-Man She-Ra Christmas Special is a phenomenal Christmas special that should be watched by everyone every year all the time.
Never saw it.
You
I look like Popeye when I do that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to pass out there. That's what I was waiting for.
I am what I am.
Identity Theft says that I better hurry up. Looks like the old man is about to fall asleep. No, that was his pooping face. Identity Theft, that was...
I pooped.
God, I hope that was a poop.
I made a poopy in my pants.
So what is your required viewing for the holiday season, if any?
Excuse me.
Shawn.
I'll be honest. It's whatever my kids are watching most of the time because they are more those people in the household right now. My family is also the kind of family though where on Christmas Eve when we're getting situated with the presents and all that. Over the last few years, ever since we bought our house, pretty much. So that's been about 6 years now. My wife and I will put Die Hard on. We are those people. We are okay with Die Hard being a Christmas movie, and I like. I said it before. I'll say it again. I like the Christmas Story movie because it does make me think of that Christmas about the Proton Pack, and Darren McGavin in that movie is my father to a T. I've never seen somebody absolutely encompass and embody my father, personality-wise, just the way he would talk, the way he would address people, and all that stuff. And another one that I think will be in the rotation now because of this year is Christmas Story Christmas, the sequel.
Did you watched it already?
Yeah, I did get to watch it, and we actually did it. We did a double header like a week or two ago. We watched the original Christmas Story, and my daughter liked that for the first time. It took her a couple years to get into that movie. And then because she liked it so much, I go, hey, you want to try the second one out? It's on HBO Max. And we started watching it. And yeah, it won me over. It's actually got a really nice progression to that story. Yeah, and there's a lot of good stuff. Like Yes, Darren McGavin passed away, but the dad is still, his spirit is so present in that movie. And like I was telling Jesse, like I did not expect it to hit me in the feels like a 1-2 punch at the end of that movie. So it really got to me this year. But yeah, I'd say those, and I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. But mostly those.
Real quick here, Identity Theft jumped in and he asked if anyone had seen the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special yet, and he still needs to see it. That is,
Yeah.
I did see it. I won't spoil any. I don't know that there's much to spoil necessarily, but it's good. It's fun. I cracked up. It was just a great how a Christmas special should be, and at the same time, it still kind of advanced the Guardians storyline a little bit, which was unexpected. So no, it's really good all around. Good music. Oh, that opening number. My ass off. I'll spoil Santa is a master burglar. No.
Well,
no.
I will say really quick about that one, and again, another hit me in the feels moment. It was like the ending of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. The minute that he's gonna fight Ronan, and he's doing the whole dance off, come on, he's doing the whole thing. And when I watched the movie originally in the theater, I'm like, they're doing it that way because it's supposed to be funny. Yep. And then when you go into this one and you have that moment with I forget the guy's name. Jesse, do you know his name? The skinny guy that now has the fin.
Kraglin.
Kraglin. Okay. Yeah. So he and Kevin Bacon have this moment, and he explains to Kevin Bacon that because of his influence by being in Footloose, that's what helped Peter save the universe. And I go, son of a bitch! Like I did not put that together until he had that moment. And I'm like, he took that from Footloose. He saved the universe because of Kevin Bacon. And it's like that moment just was like such a great moment for me to all of a sudden go, of course he did, but it didn't register when I first saw that movie.
It was a very good...
I think you said Yardu Hasselfrau wrong.
Of course I would.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Definitely check it out. It's well worth it. And I didn't even know it was coming out. Like I think Shawn, I don't know, it came up somehow, and I'm like, is this a real thing, or is it like was it just like a
Oh, is that when I said no spoilers in that one group chat?
That's what it was. Yeah, Matt Rod. That's what it was. Yeah, he said something, and you're like, no spoilers. I'm like, what? And they're like, holidays, Christmas special. And I'm like, really? So, that was a nice little Christmas surprise. Jesse, what's your required viewing for the holiday season?
I don't have a specific required viewing. I was saying earlier, I'm not a huge Christmas movie fan. There's certain ones. There's only a few, and I try not to watch the same ones every year just so I don't wear them out. One that I can watch without getting worn out is Krampus, but I usually put that on when I'm decorating my tree, but I didn't do that this year. But I love that Krampus movie from a couple years back. It reinvigorated my love of the season. My absolute favorite, though, is Opus and Bill, A Wish for Wings That Work. It's an animated one, the penguin from Bloom County comic strip. Absolutely love that movie. It's really funny. It's just got that weird off sense of humor that just really appeals to me, like screaming goats. And but I'll say, like, my favorite, like, traditional Christmas movie is probably White Christmas.
Okay. You're going way back.
Yeah. Nice. I just, something about that when I saw that as a kid, it just, I think just something about how they were pulling together to put on the show for their commanding officer, and just, it wasn't just believing in Santa and the spirit of the season. You know, there was like real, you know, and it was the struggling business and stuff. And I never watched,
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, until a couple years ago, I finally watched that, and arguably, like the end happens at Christmas. It's not technically a Christmas movie, but like it definitely fits the season. I think more than other ones.
It's about the giving in that
Yeah.
one, really, and
more
like,
than Die Hard. So,
well, yeah,
he gives until it hurts in that movie. I mean, I don't know about you, but walking on glass and having your feet ripped up, but he's still going for it. Hans Gruber has to die. You know what I mean? I mean, come on.
But I think that movie's absolutely beautiful as well.
Yeah.
When I finally watched it, yeah. I mean, but there's tons of entertaining ones. Like someone said, Gremlins, Elf is great.
Elf. My wife's got to watch that at least once a year. For me,
Same here.
It was growing up. It's a Wonderful
Family
Life.
Stone.
My dad watched It's a Wonderful Life every year, and then Miracle on 34th Street were like the ones growing up that like always played. And then what was it? My sisters were obsessed with it. There's like a Mom for Christmas, I want to say, where like it's like a department store mannequin that's wished to life because this little girl wants her dad to not be alone at Christmas.
That makes me think of Today's Special, and that show gave me stress and anxiety at an early age.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Did you ever watch that show?
No, I don't know what that is.
So this was like a kid's show. It was like it had some puppets in it. There was a puppet security guard, and there was a puppet mouse. And then the main characters, there was a woman and a guy, but the guy was a mannequin that if they put this hat on him, he would come to life. And every time he moved, I was scared to death he was going to end up knocking the hat off because he had a big afro anyway, very big curly hair. Thing couldn't even stay on his head. And he'd do these dance numbers, and I'm like, dude, you are going to lose that, and you're going to be in the middle of this, and people are going to know your secret. That's probably why I hate Secret Identities as much as I do now.
Yeah, because if the hat fell off, he turned back into a mannequin.
Exactly. And sometimes he would do dance numbers where nobody could find him. Nobody knew he was in a different department of the store at night, and then they wouldn't find him until morning. And it almost had that like Night of the Museum feel. Right. Like if the sun came up, he's going to get swept away in dust almost or whatever. It just, it gave me anxiety.
It's not quite the same, but A Mom for Christmas, 1990. A motherless girl is granted her wish to have a mother for the holidays when a store mannequin is brought to life. The girl and her father do their best to make sure the mannequin does not return to its lifeless state. And
I mean, isn't that ripping off the movie Mannequin?
But it's Christmas. I also love
I
do love Mannequin and Mannequin 2 on the Move. Those are both phenomenal movies. But the big thing I remember about that movie is that like the mom mannequin like is trying to make a traditional Christmas, and she sees like a photo of a Christmas tree with like the candles, and she thinks they're actual candles, and so she uses real candles like on the Christmas tree, and she like ends up like burning. I don't think she burned down the whole house, but like the living room and the tree and everything. So
it's like the episode of Webster that gave me trauma too, because he set fire to the whole apartment on that one, but using a science set. That just freaked me out.
The Webster episode that freaked me out was when they move into the house, like the townhouse, out of the condo, and he finds the secret passageway up to the hidden room. And
I remember that.
In my mind, I've never seen the end of it. In my mind, he finds a dead woman in a rocking chair.
See that other movie that your sisters loved, that didn't work because it did not have the magic that is Starship of Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now
and
playing as an anthem for 1987.
Standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now.
Yes, exactly. And it wasn't filmed in Boscov's. That's only 5 minutes down the road from me and Jesse.
Really? That
Mannequin 1. It was filmed at the Camp Hill Mall, Boscov's in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, and it still looks the same.
Where Estelle Getty almost gets killed on the steps.
If you watch, I found this out. If you watch the music video to "Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now," they actually show like the cops running at each other at points, and they'll hit into each other and have those like crap falls and crap like that. But you can see the background. It is Boscov's, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so great.
Shawn, I know. Jesse, I know what
I gotta
we're doing
watch
when I
it
come
from
visit
beginning
you
to end.
guys.
Yeah, we're watching Mannequin and going to Boscov.
We're going to Boscov's.
I'll throw one other movie on the list real quick. I don't get to watch it every year, but the one that I was surprised by is Love Actually. I'd call that a Christmas movie. And the thing about that one that I love, the story that I think is the best is Liam Neeson's in that one, because he starts off the movie, he's a widow, he's at his wife's funeral, and now he has a stepson, and it's just the two of them. And the story, like there's other stories going on, but his story in particular is awesome because he loses his wife. He still has to take care of her son. And he does everything he can to make that kid still feel like he's got his back through the whole movie. And it's set at Christmas time. So, and Bill Nye strips naked during a music video and makes people laugh. I mean, what's better than that?
I do like that movie. I do not keep that on my Christmas list, but I'm not telling other people they can't.
Well, it does have All I Want for Christmas Is You, so there is a negative against it. I will say
does.
that.
But you made me remember there is a newer movie that I do like. I haven't watched it this year, but so far I've watched it the year it came out at Christmas, and then last year was the movie Last Christmas with Emilia Clarke.
Sounds so familiar, but I can't.
She works in a store that Michelle Yeoh's character runs that is a Christmas store, so it's a Christmas store year round.
Yeah.
So she's like fed up with Christmas and all of this stuff, and then she runs into this guy, and it's kind of a rom-com, but it's got some really good it's a drama disguised as a rom-com.
Yeah. No, it's kind of Hallmarky.
But
yeah.
No, it's not. I don't think it's Hallmarky.
What you're describing is, and this tells me I had not actually seen it. So
it does, because I'm trying not to give anything away.
Gotcha.
Like there's more to it.
I'll have to put that on my list to check out.
Emma Thomas?
Thompson?
Is that her name?
There is an
Emma Thompson.
Let's see.
She's Snape's wife in Love Actually.
She's Snape's wife.
Yeah.
Nope, I got the song from Wham. I should probably search movie, or maybe Netflix. Then we'll do it.
Yeah, that's Thompson. Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson.
She plays Emilia Clarke's mom. Yeah, it's a good movie. Like I said, it's more of a romantic comedy than not, but
nothing seems to go
really
right
good
for young Kate, a frustrated Londoner who works as an elf in a year-round Christmas shop. But things soon take a turn for the better when she meets Tom, a handsome charmer who seems too good to be true. As the city transforms into the most wonderful time of the year, Tom and Kate's growing attraction turns into the best gift of all, a Yuletide romance. I'll check that out. It's got good reviews.
The description does make it sound like a Hallmark movie, but like,
I think my
unlike
wife
Hallmark
watched
movies,
this,
she starts
but I
off.
didn't.
She's an absolute mess at the beginning of this movie. Like, she's getting kicked out of. She's like staying at friends' houses because she doesn't have her own place, and she's constantly getting kicked out. It's not the like, oh, I'm the big city, girl that's gonna move back to the country and take over my dad's Christmas tree farm, like a Hallmark movie. And
I got you. I'll check that one out.
It's good.
I have not seen that, but I remember.
If you don't like George Michael or Wham, you will probably get sick of the music because it is definitely built around his music.
That's better than Paul McCartney simply having a wonderful Christmas time. I'm going to shoot myself in the head every time I
screen
hear
and
it.
punch you for saying that.
Wonderful Christmas time.
I have never.
The sky is bright.
I have never ever heard
Sean's
something
gonna punch
that
me
literally could turn
in the
me
face
into the Incredible Hulk
if
and want to
I
just
keep
destroy the
on
entire area.
going now.
So anyway, real quick,
We did this last year.
yeah,
I feel like we
hated
did
him.
this last year.
I don't like it. Whatever
weren't
we're
on
doing
last year, were you? Did I block? No, you weren't on.
We've had, maybe it wasn't a Christmas special. I remember Shawn talking about that song with you in one of these.
It's quite possible. Well, I know you were on our Revelation Eve, the night before the first part of Master Universe Revelation came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't Christmas time, but we did kind of Christmas Eve it, so maybe it came up then. Real quick though, I want to throw out Home Alone, which I'm surprised neither of you mentioned, because it's
a great movie,
an amazing Christmas movie. That's one. Yeah, Elf, Home Alone. My wife likes to watch Little Women around this time. I've still never actually seen the movie all the way through. Maybe
which one?
For years it was obviously Winona Ryder, like the 90s one. But she said the new one was good. She enjoyed it. So.
It's okay. The 90s one's better.
I had not seen either. Jingle All the Way. That is one, and Identity Theft mentioned it too. That one gets swept under the rug a lot, but I think it's a freaking classic. I don't watch it every year, but I love it. And it definitely fits into our kind of
I've
collecting.
never seen it.
You've never seen Arnold Schwarzenegger in Sinbad? They're trying to find the Turbo Man.
I know what it is.
I wanted to do an Arnold impression. So.
Like I said, remember, I'm not a huge Christmas movie fan.
Yeah. No, that was just pure fun and stupidity, and it's Arnold and Sinbad. How can you go wrong?
I've seen that Tom and Jerry cartoon. I'm good.
I saw that one in the theater, and then I tried showing. I did show it to my daughter. Like, I want to say maybe it was the year before last.
Yeah, it's still a little on the younger, I would think, for that.
Well,
movie.
she didn't like it, wanted it turned off because she did not like how Phil Hartman was hitting on every single woman in the neighborhood.
Oh,
and she just thought that was so creepy, and she's like, I don't like this movie. And I finished it out, and I'm like, for me, it didn't hold up nearly as well as some other ones. And like, I know Home Alone is always like one of those, everybody usually around this time of year likes it. And I've seen that so many times because my kids love that movie.
Yeah.
But every time I watch it, like the last time we watched it, for instance, they have that whole moment where because the older brother says he ate all the cheese pizza and then Kevin hits him in the gut, and then they have the big catastrophe in the kitchen. And the first words out of the brother-in-law's mouth is, "Look what you did, you jerk." Every time I see that, I go, this movie would have ended there for me because I would have punched him in the freaking head like 50 times. I'm like, even though my kid might be a mess up right now, you don't talk to my kid like that. There's like things in that movie that drive me nuts because I'm like, how do people get away with talking to that kid that way? No wonder he wants to kill people later in the movie.
Well, it all comes full circle.
I get it, and it's his therapy. I understand, but there's this like that poor guy, like they didn't need to treat him like such an a-hole half the time. But whatever, I don't know. That's just me because I grew up single parent or single. Me being the single child deal, I didn't have to put up with that kind of stuff as much. So I guess that's part of it. I didn't have the animosity.
I don't get it. Why don't you just go to your own house?
Why don't you go home? Go home where people give a damn about you.
Let's see what else has Bren brought up in the chat. Oh, Muppet Family Christmas. Now, is that the one where they had the Sesame Street characters on it too? I can't remember, but I remember there was one I used to watch a lot. We had it recorded, where it was like
there's one that you can only get on YouTube or something. It's not it's not the Christmas Carol one.
No, not Muppets Christmas Carol. It was like the Muppets. They like went to like this cottage or something. But what was always amazing as a kid was like Big Bird and everybody, like the Sesame Street guys, showed up to join them for Christmas, and it was like to young man, I mean, it's the equivalent of like Iron Man and Captain America in the MCU. Like, oh my God, it's Big Bird and Kermit. They're in the movie together.
That was our first MCU.
Right. And I know Kermit was on Sesame Street some, but like, I don't know. It was like that crossover thing where it's like, and of course, getting older, it's like, oh, it's all Jim Henson and everything. But like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you don't really know that. There's Muppets and then there's Sesame Street and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll say
Anru says that Fraggle Rock apparently shows up as well. I don't remember them, but I also didn't watch that show very much.
Mm-hmm.
a new one. I don't watch it every year at Christmas, but every time I watch, because I only watch it because you can watch it out of sequence from the show and still enjoy it as a Christmas special. But I love the Christmas episode of Ted Lasso from season 2.
We just finished that, and I can't remember.
I don't know if I finished season 2, to be honest with you. If I did, we binged
I'm trying to
it,
remember
so it doesn't stand out to me, but that's on me. I don't think
Season 2 is where Higgins opens every year. He opens his house to the soccer players, and no one ever comes. And
that's right. That's right.
Like Ted's doing Christmas.
Yeah. I was thinking it was Thanksgiving for some reason. Okay, yeah.
I don't celebrate Thanksgiving in England.
Ted Lasso's not English.
Yeah, but
well,
that's true.
That's true. 8-Bit Christmas, that was brought up. I still haven't watched that. I didn't get a chance to last year, and so then I decided to wait until this year, and I'm hoping to watch it this weekend. Actually, I was talking about getting a chance to watch it. Have you guys seen it?
Yes.
Any good? Recommend? Yay, nay?
Again,
I'm going to watch
Christmas
it regardless of what you say, if that makes it easy.
you will probably like it. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be your favorite, but I'm sure like there are parts of it that like almost got me in nostalgia, but not quite.
Yeah.
Because it's all about Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the game system, and
Yeah.
you know, I never had a Nintendo, so it was like it just didn't quite land for me that way. It's one of those things. If I was a couple of years younger, it probably would have hit harder for me. It wasn't bad. It just, again, not. Office Christmas Party is pretty fun though.
That's a fun one too. Yeah.
That one made me laugh pretty hard. Well, wasn't that the one where the guy tried to do like a flip off the second? So, that got me.
There was a Bad Moms was set at Christmas too, wasn't it? The sequel.
So Heather was watching that the other day. Heather had that on, and she was watching it like during lunch while she was taking a break, and I can hear she didn't have her headphones in, and I'm hearing a voice, and I'm like, I know that voice.
Meg?
I go over to her, and I'm like, what are you watching? Oh, it's the Bad Moms Christmas, and I go, that's Green Arrow. And she's like, I don't know. It's this guy.
Yeah. Stephen Amell is in there.
It's Justin Hartley.
Oh, it's Hartley.
Justin Hartley.
You're right. It's Hartley.
And the scene with him is with Agatha, Catherine Hahn from WandaVision, and it's a whole thing. And I'm like, I can't look at him the same way ever again. I'm not even going to get into what the scene is about. But if you want to watch it, you'll see Green Arrow in a whole new light. Let me tell you.
Dude, Hartley's been on everything.
But it's like he has one of those distinct voices. The minute I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, I can hear him like in my head. I can hear Smallville dialogue, but it's now that. I'm like, what is he doing? That's so nuts.
There's a Christmas movie that no one ever talks about, and it's time that it gets some cred.
Let's do it.
Reindeer Games.
Oh, I saw that because Charlize Theron was naked.
You're not missing anything. That movie's not very good.
Scott,
I honestly did.
Real quick,
for that reason.
Scott Baker, where we've ran so long we killed the battery on his phone. He's got to go.
Oh.
So, Merry Christmas, Scott. Thanks for tuning in, and congrats, and we'll catch you later. Nope, never seen Reindeer Games, but you did just make me think. Prancer was actually one that we watched a ton growing up. And that was actually...
That was one of the first movies I saw with surround sound.
Yeah, and we had... Kind of with your mannequin story, it was filmed in the town over from us, Three Oaks in Michigan. So that was also another big thing, like... You know, and that's something my mom and dad always used to tell her. But yeah, Prancer was filmed here, like that, and they've even got it up on their Welcome to Town thing to this day.
Were you alive when that was made?
I feel like I was. I seem to remember it coming out, but I don't know if it was just like it came out on VHS. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah. You know what? There's a Christmas. I can never remember what it is. It was a Santa Claus movie. Not.
Was it Santa Claus the movie?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the Tim Curry movie. I no.
Real quick, Prancer was 89. So
89.
Yes, I was. And it probably like 90 when it came out on video because things used to take a while to actually come out physically.
Well, I mean, if it came out at Christmas '89, it definitely would have been 90 when it came out or later.
That's what I just said.
Because I mean, Christmas is the week before the New Year.
Yeah.
But what's the movie?
I don't remember what it's called, and I can't remember if it's the one with that little British guy in it.
What happens? Give us a scene.
I don't like someone. I want to say John Lithgow like kidnaps Santa and keeps him in the basement or something.
Isn't that Santa Claus the movie? Because he's like a toy maker or something, I think, right?
I don't know, but they had really cool like animatronic puppet reindeer in it, and I didn't care about the rest of the movie, but I loved the special effects on the reindeer.
Oh dear God!
Yeah, it says John Lithgow was in Santa Claus the movie.
Maybe that's it. I just always forget about that one.
Yeah. And Dudley Moore was in it too.
That's it. That's who I was. That's the little British guy I was thinking.
He's.
So it was Santa Claus the movie. You need to take back everything
Okay.
you said about me.
Yep.
I heard you.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes has a 20% on that one. Holy cow!
It's not a good movie.
I was gonna say it's one of those ones I always remember, and I know we had it videotaped, but I don't remember actually watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Identity Theft says no one said Batman '89. Well, that's not set at Christmas. Returns was set at Christmas.
Returns was set at Christmas, and
89
that's one
wasn't, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. No, '89 wasn't set at Christmas, but Batman Returns was because the very last words in the movie it was "Merry Christmas, Alfred."
Yep. And Honoru wants to know if we consider Iron Man 3 a Christmas movie. I mean, I guess if Shawn's doing Die Hard, then that Iron Man 3 has to be.
Every movie that what's his name makes is a Christmas movie for the most part.
Kiss, kiss, bang, bang.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Yeah.
It's not a Christmas movie. I would say
It's
just
set at
because
Christmas,
it takes
though.
place at Christmas does not make it a Christmas movie. But I'm not as dead set on fighting that fight anymore. At the end of the day, I don't really care. It's not on my Christmas list. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, because even Lethal Weapon takes place around Christmas,
and Lethal Weapon is
Shane
not
Black
a Christmas
wrote
movie.
that as well. That's the thing. Like the only movie I think Shane Black helped with that it wasn't Christmas related might have been Predator, because everything else that he does has Christmas involved with it, one way or the other.
Fair enough.
Oh, the new Predator?
No, the original.
Oh,
I think he helped write some of the Schwarzenegger one. That's why he was in the cast, because he's one of those guys that goes into the jungle.
He is.
So I think that was one of the few times he was in a movie, because he's usually a writer or a director.
Fair enough.
But anyway, I wouldn't consider Iron Man 3 to be a Christmas movie personally, and the same with I'd say Batman Returns is more of a Christmas movie than Iron Man 3. That's just my personal opinion. But even that I wouldn't consider a Christmas movie.
Fair enough.
It just is coincidental, I think.
It's funny as we get going. It's like, man, we could keep going forever here. You know, Identity Theft just brought up the first Tim Allen Santa Claus movie. Babes in Toyland was another one we always used to watch growing up. Like, the more we talk about it, the more I keep remembering all these different movies that like came up.
The thing to me is like, over the years, there's certain ones. It's tradition that these movies are of this time of the year. But it wasn't until I was in my 20s or 30s and I understood the message really of It's a Wonderful Life, for instance. That one now is one where I try to find it each year, because that's kind of like it makes you take stock of what you've done that year. The way I look at it, it's the whole, one person doing what he did affected the lives of all these people within his own town, that they show up at the end of that movie to help him because he's helped all the other people. And it's like, what have you done this year to make a difference to the people around you? And it's like, originally I remember Jimmy Stewart in an interview that the director Frank Capra goes, we want to do the story about a suicidal guy, and he gets to walk through his life with an angel leading him, and he's like, when do I start filming? He thought it was a great idea. It bombs, but there's so much substance to that concept, and it's a great one to look at at this time of the year of giving and all that, and I enjoy it for that reason. And then another one for me is there's how many versions of the Christmas Carol? You got the typical Christmas Carol, you got Scrooge, the one that I mentioned earlier when Jesse and I were talking. What is it?
Mickey's.
The one with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell together. Spirited. Thank you. It's like that's the newest take on it. And then my daughter found one on Netflix that it's an English adaptation, but it's all animated, and there's song and dance and all this stuff. And I was actually pretty impressed by that one because the character design in that was really well done. Some of the songs were actually like they're earworms and they'll stick with you, and not in a bad way. But the way that they set it up was actually really interestingly done, because they did some foreshadowing leading up to Marley showing up. And I pointed out, I'm like, I love how they did this, because leading home, like on his way home, there's little things that start happening to make Scrooge go, what is this about? But then whatever, and he just walks on. But they build it up so well, leading up to the ghosts finally revealing themselves. And then when the ghosts show up, they're like, this is for kids? That's pretty freaking cool. Like, they have like a menace to them, which I really enjoyed. But Muppet Christmas Carol still is another one that I absolutely love. The songs in that one, Michael Caine playing it completely serious.
Oh, yeah.
And him being like, I'm not Muppet anything this. I'm playing it like I would play with normal actors. And you could tell. Like, that's one of those where it's like, it still stands up because he did not want to make that into like a farce or a parody. He played it as Ebenezer Scrooge.
100%. All right, J-Mac is also signing off. It's probably about that time. Let's give away this last present we got here. This one's going to be a lot of fun. Jesse, one more number to wrap us up.
3.
3! Oh. 1, 2, 3. Enru 83. You are our final winner. Reach out to me. All of you winners with your real names, addresses, either find me on Facebook, or if you're not on Facebook, logpod85@gmail.com will also get you in touch with me, and I will get these out as quick as I can, hopefully in time for the holiday season. Open it on Christmas or whenever you want, and tag us in there once you do, and share the love of the season. Shawn, Jesse, anything, words of wisdom, anything you want to plug? Where can we find you? A little sign off. Go ahead.
Go for it.
Just shelve it. YouTube and Instagram. I've got my family sibling Christmas special tomorrow night, and I will be doing stuff through the rest of the year. And I brought on a co-host starting last week in Curtis Ackerman going into the new year. So look for more things other than just talking about Mythic Legions and toy collections on that channel going into the new year. I feel like there was something else, but I can't think of it. So we'll just roll with that.
All right. Shawn.
I'm here. You'll find me on here, Legends of Grayskull. I'm also still on Council of the First Ones if you want to hear me rant about Masters there. And I was just on Legion's Lair this past week, so if you want to catch that, it'll be in the Cabal. If you're a member, check that out. They gave me the 6th degree and went crazy with letting me talk about mythics and all that stuff. And yeah, Cabal Creations, by the way. I'll put that out there. It's something Dusty Standiford, and actually now I brought in David Williams as well. The three of us handle that, and it's a way for you to be creative in the Cabal. You can post your art. Doesn't matter if you do digital, traditional, just a way of showing your creativity and your love for Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, Figura, Obscura, and whatever else the Horsemen are behind. So feel free to enter that if you have artistic talent. Even if you don't, give it a shot.
One more thing. For those of you watching this that are in the Cabal, I do my Mythic Minute on Thursday nights. I have a very special one coming up this Thursday. It's story time with Uncle Jesse in the Cabal on Mythic Minute this Thursday night. So if you're in there, please come check it out.
I love it. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for joining us in the live chat. Thank you guys that are listening to it afterwards. We couldn't do this without you. Make sure you click the like, the share, the subscribe, all that. Definitely that subscribe, so that way when we get back to doing these lives, you're automatically notified. You never know. We give away presents. Who knows what?
Yeah.
Regardless, it's a good time. Thank you, everybody. And until next time, Merry Christmas.